And welcome back to this post-debate spin room edition of Hannity. We're live in beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and joining me now is the candidate who says the coveted endorsement from the national evangelical leaders that he landed over the weekend is greatly helping his campaign right here in the Palmetto State. Former Pennsylvania Senator Rick Santorum. How are you? Good to see you, Senator.
Doing great. Thanks, Sean. Thanks.
All right. Well, what about the evangelicals? They met in Texas over the weekend, and you had a consensus.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty remarkable. It's about 150 people. All the candidates had people there, helping them, working with them, and at least from everything I was told, there was very little expectation there would be a consensus, and ended up making the arguments for the candidates. Sent sort of a team of folks we did down there to make the case, and they left, and then left it for those folks to decide what to do. And they had a ballot. One person dropped off. They took the last person off. It came to Newt and me, and they wanted 2/3 majority. We came within a hair of the 2/3, and they said, well, we'll give it one more chance to see if we can get a consensus enough to endorse. And we ended up with 75% of the vote. So folks who had voted for Newt switched over and supported us. And I think it shows that, look, we've run 2 primaries so far, and I've finished on the top of the conservative pack, if you will. And I think they also recognize that if you're looking for a real consistent conservative on all of the issues, I'm just a stronger conservative than Newt is on a lot of these issues. And Newt's a friend, but he's been far too ephemeral on too many issues, like his attack on capitalism here recently. We need someone who's reliable, who's going to be steady, who's going to stand up and fight for the principles that you believe in here, and not sort of move as conditions move.
You got into it a little bit with Governor Romney, too, as well tonight, over the issue of the super PAC. Now, maybe the issue of the rights of felons to vote is maybe not the top issue in the campaign, especially with 10% unemployment here in the state of South Carolina. But I think it was the principle that was at stake.
It's an integrity issue. People, people are looking for a president who they can trust and believes it's authentic, and someone that is going to look at the American public and say, if this is what I say, this is what this is the truth, and this is what I believe. And for his super PAC to attack us on an issue where actually Governor Romney's record is, at least in their terms, weaker than mine. And for the governor to try to song and dance this and then say at the end, I said, will you take him down? And he said, well, if anything's false. That's not what presidents do. That's not what leaders do. If you find something that is wrong, you come out and say, this is wrong, it should be off the air, and you should take it off the air.
What about his argument that he doesn't have control over it? I asked him about this on the program, because there's real anger. I mean, Newt, we saw what happened at Iowa. He was pretty angry.
He's hiding behind the veil that somehow or another, because you can't directly talk to this group, that you have no influence over them. These are all people that work for him. These are people who, prior to the establishment of the super PAC, were his inner circle of folks. The idea that if Governor Romney went out, or if I went out with respect to my super PAC and said, I want you to take this off the air. No, I can't directly communicate with you in private, but in public I can look at that and say, this is wrong. And if you're representing my interest, stop it. And he won't do that because he doesn't want to do that. He wants to keep the veil of I can't do anything to perpetuate these lies out there against me and other candidates.
There's a little exchange back and forth with you and Newt on entitlements tonight as well.
Yeah, this is a big deal. I mean, look, I'm a passionate believer in private accounts for Social Security. I went to Kansas City, Missouri, flew out on Air Force One with Bill Clinton, and fought for private accounts at a time we were running a surplus and a surplus in Social Security. Now we're running a deficit in Social Security, so we don't have enough money to pay in right now to pay benefits, and we're running a $1.2 trillion deficit. What does Newt want to do? In a sense, create a brand new entitlement program. A good program, but it's still an entitlement program. People are entitled to take a certain amount of money that is now paid to the government and to keep it themselves. And then we're going to have to go out and borrow money from China to pay for this program.
Well, as I understood, he was talking about 185 bureaucratic consolidating them, sending the money back to states. Did you not believe that?
Well, that's great if we're in a situation where we don't need to do that to solve the deficit problem as it is. But what he's doing is taking a $1.2 trillion annual deficit, making a $1.4 trillion annual deficit, and saying, well, then I'm going to take some waste, which could have been used to solve the original deficit, to create a new program. This is what Obamacare did. Obamacare said, we're going to save money in Medicare. Well, we need to save Medicare, but we shouldn't take that money to create a new entitlement.
How is it like Obamacare if you're going to literally end the bureaucracy in Washington and then send it back to the states?
It's not sending it. It's like Obamacare and how he pays for his new entitlement. What Newt is creating is a brand new entitlement that he pays for out of Social Security contributions. And what he's saying is, well, I can just do that. I can reduce the Social Security contributions, create this new program, and not pay for the existing program.
Do you agree that there is Romney, not Romney? Do you agree that the conservatives are splintering off and that paves the way for him? Do you agree with that analysis?
Yeah, I would make the argument that we're the true conservative in this race, that Newt Gingrich...
You don't think you and Newt and Governor Perry are
I think Governor Perry is by and large, a legitimate conservative. I think, Newt is frankly just not as conservative as I am on a whole variety of issues, and he's more toward Romney than he is toward me, and that's why I think you saw these conservatives band together and support me, because they're looking for someone who's an authentic conservative, conviction conservative, didn't sit on a couch with Nancy Pelosi, didn't support an individual mandate, didn't support the Wall Street bailouts, all of which Newt did, and I didn't.
At the end of the day, how long do you know you're in this race for?
Well, we're still open for some good news out of Iowa, which I understand we'll hear tomorrow. And
there might be, you're thinking there's a possibility you may have won Iowa.
We have a 50-50 chance. I mean, they're recounting. The votes have moved all over. We've heard we were ahead, we were behind, we were ahead, we were behind. So they're moving. And so when you're 8 votes apart, it's a 50-50
tomorrow you'll find out.
And we'll find that out tomorrow. So this inevitability argument, they'll certify it tomorrow. That's what we're told anyway, no later than the day after tomorrow. But we're told is that they think they can finish it by tomorrow. And this inevitability argument that is created by an 8-vote win in Iowa and a win in New Hampshire where 47% of the people, only 47% of the people voting were Republicans.
You're in it through Super Tuesday?
We're in it. I mean, with respect to the rest of the field that can compete against Governor Romney, we're 2-0. We've finished ahead of Governor Perry, way ahead twice, and we finished ahead of Congressman Gingrich twice. Right. So the idea that, as Newt is projecting, that I'm costing him votes, well, that's only true if he had won the first two. The bottom line is we did, and we have the strongest game here in South Carolina. We're building a strong coalition, getting people to turn to our campaign, and we know that's going to continue to happen.
All right, Senator, good to see you. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks, Sean. My pleasure.
Coming up, Juan Williams, who moderated tonight's debate, or was one of the moderators. He'll join us live right here in the spin room with analysis. Also coming up, we'll get Dick Morris's take on all of this as we continue from beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Straight ahead.